Hi guys, my name is Sarah Bell and I am a Technical Insights Program Manager at Dropbox. And I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about my job and how I got here, and just to explain the lovely background behind me as a shout out to where I'm from. This is the bridge between Memphis and Arkansas. So I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I went to the University of Memphis for undergrad, where I got my Bachelor of Arts in International Relations and began the long, winding path to getting this job at Dropbox. Just to give you some background, when I was going to undergrad, relying on a healthy mix of student loans and scholarships, I was getting my bachelor's with the intent of going and working through the State Department, particularly learning Japanese so that I could go to Japan and enjoy all of my anime dreams. Instead, I graduated from college and went straight into military intelligence with the US Air Force. But I think what I have learned since that point in time is that you don't need to have everything planned out. You just need to have a solid idea of what you enjoy. And for me, I enjoy storytelling. I enjoy the act of piecing together disparate pieces of information and combining them into a cohesive narrative. And my current job allows for that. And it allows for me to use every single bit of disparate experience I've had since leaving Memphis. Because I didn't just go into the Air Force. After I left the Air Force, I went to Berkeley to get my master's degree. And then I went and worked at PlayStation, where I did statistical modeling, which was wild to me because I hated math when I was growing up. I always thought it was a little weird when they started involving numbers that didn't exist. Imaginary number, why? But here I am. And then after that, I went to Amazon, where I worked on basically a factory floor, figuring out how to ship packages faster, which is a little bit of math, but mostly it's just muscle memory and putting together standard operating procedures like, here, do this, and then this will happen. Very different from, well, let's just throw everything into all the numbers into a model and maybe we'll get something that tells me this is significant. After that, I went to electronic arts, where I then worked in marketing, which is the most directly related to storytelling bit. And in particular, while I was working at marketing, I did a lot of what we call A/B testing, which is basically a fancy way of saying we did a lot of stats, a lot of statistical analysis. So I was right back to working with math again. So you may want to escape math, but you're just never going to fully escape it. And so now I've embraced it with my current job at Dropbox, where I work with our customer intelligence team. And our team looks at all of the data that we have collected, and we help people tell stories about that data. So we look at what the average number of users over a given period says about that account. We look at what things are significant for indicating that, hey, we have a problem here. We need to intervene and make sure that we're making sure everything's great for our customer. That's the type of storytelling, that's the type of help that the customer intelligence team provides. And so it allows me to pick up it allows me to use a few things that I have picked up along the way. Stats, I'm just never going to get away from stats. Stats has basically become part of my skill set. And now I get to write code. So coding has become part of my skill set as well. And honestly, there's something rewarding about creating a product using a bunch of lines of code that is super valuable to all of your end customers, where they're like, holy crap, this is the best thing I've ever used. And then telling stories just via data. So I get to work together with a bunch of different people with a bunch of different expertise, and we help craft a story for all of the people that are using Dropbox, for the people who are trying to sell Dropbox. That's what we do. And what does Dropbox do? Dropbox is, well, traditionally Dropbox is known for being a file storage in the cloud, but now Dropbox is working on solving the problem of how do we work smarter? How do we take away all of the distractions from working in so many different places and put them all into one place so that you don't have to constantly change windows or change your attention? That's the type of problem that we're trying to solve at Dropbox. So what can I give to you as advice? Here's my number one piece of advice. You're going to be doing projects a lot, group projects a lot. It is very, very hard to be in a position where the only thing you do is work on a project all by yourself. Working in any company, in every company I've ever been to, has been just a series of working together with a bunch of different people. And related to that, that means that you're going to have to learn to be a team player. You're going to appreciate those people who work as team players a lot more than basically anyone else. Being a team player is going to overcome any dislike you have about someone's personality, because the team players are going to play nice, and we're going to make sure that, you guys all succeed. And then finally, and this is the part that has been the toughest for me, it's going to get a lot more ambiguous from here. All of the group projects you're working on now, they have very clear solutions, they have very clear guidelines. Even if you get to the same answer in different ways, or you get to a slightly different answer in the same way, it's a lot more structured than what you're going to get used to in basically any sort of company environment. So my recommendation for you guys is that take these opportunities with these highly structured projects to really learn the process of working through a project. What do you need to do to successfully work together? What do you need to do to get everything in on time? That's going to serve you so well in the future. You're going to learn a lot from the people that you're working with, and you're going to learn a lot about how to make sure that you are doing everything you can to support projects. And it's going to be a lot lower risk than some of these projects where you're working with millions of dollars, numbers that get kind of intimidating at the end. So that is my top recommendation to you guys. My other piece of advice is you don't have to have it all figured out. I told you I went to the University of Memphis and said, I'm going to go work in the State Department. I went in fully intending to do that. I did international relations. I did a minor in Japanese. I had it figured out. And now I did none of those things. And in fact, since I've left the University of Memphis, I have done a million other different things that have all required a bunch of different skill sets. But they've all taught me the same thing, that you're going to need to learn to rely on people. You're going to need to learn to solve unstructured, ambiguous problems. And that all of those group projects I hated when I was in elementary school they're going to be key. They're going to be key for working in a big company. They're going to be key for anything you do, because life is a series of group projects. So that's my spiel about being a technical insights program manager. Thanks, guys. Bye.